What's up, y'all? It's a video matchmaker. This actually called my library. Make sure all the books I actually have entirety, from books I actually read from beginning to end, including books I actually copped it, but I didn't get a chance to literally read. So this is probably what I do in my research. I actually read more than 17 books of the topic. Regardless of what the topic is, I read more than 17 books of it. Then I also go as to watch more than 10 videos of that same topic, and then I actually read multiple websites of what I'm reading, so I can explain very in-depth or precise details of what I'm reading when I'm actually kind of explaining it, or when I'm actually having a discussion with somebody. That's pretty what I do. Now, if I go back into, like, multiple thousand, but probably, like, several years ago, when I used to been, going to the library when it opened and leave when it actually closes, that's pretty what I've been doing. If I start to collect books from my library collection, as you literally see today, my library collection would have been dramatically a lot more than it actually is currently. So that's pretty what I've been doing, going to the library when it opens, leaves when it closes. And then I also used to go there when libraries, like, 2 to 3 hours. Go there and study. I actually have prints that I still have to this day of, information that I actually practically gathered. And there's a lot of them. So I'm probably going to show y'all them probably later on, or probably not. I'm not fully sure, y'all. I'm actually fully sure, though. That actually kind of fluctuates. But I'm actually going to show y'all this here. Now, this is actually what I put my books in. It's actually a box file organizer. I actually got this from Amazon for $11 to $13. That's probably where I literally actually get it from. And I'm actually going to buy something in this place. I'm going to have to use that instead. So I'm actually going to be buying something else. Can't wait to buy it. So I'm going to start putting my books in that. Now, I'm going to show y'all. I'm sorry about speaking about this. Now, this is actually from Supreme Understanding. This brother be dropping jewels. This is actually like a playing card game. Now, the reason I actually copped this is beside the fact to put money in the brother pocket, but I also copped this because I can play I Declare War. And they actually have, black faces or African people on the faces of the cards as you play it. It's actually called Heritage Playing Cards, the whole world in the palm of your hands. So I literally copped that. Now, I actually read this. But yet you see the bookmarker there, so I haven't went too far with this book yet. Kill the Indian, Save the Man. One of my favorite movie actors is actually Sandy Portier. So I literally caught this one actually with my family. I caught this when I was with my family at Walmart. I actually caught this too from another project from, what's that? This is actually a calendar from Supreme Understanding. So I literally actually copped this. Now, even though it was actually outdated because it's 2012, of the month of this actual of the actual year of this book here, but within the months, he actually practically within the months of the days, he be dropping knowledge pertaining to our actual history. So that's why I literally actually copped it. Besides that, there's another book that's actually kind of like a encyclopedia. He said I didn't get a chance to like really read, because they actually kind of like fit in the category as a dictionary. You know what I mean? It's another one. And these books here, I actually read from beginning to end. Here it is. Better than me. Right, this. Love reading about books about Frederick Douglass, my man. If you live with the Indians of the Northwest Coast, I'm actually copying this because I'm actually working on create my own comic book, but I actually fluctuate should I actually make it or not. But I actually gather it from material anyway. But I'm still not fully sure though, should I make it or not. One of the best books I actually read was this one, The Goddess Black Woman. The Goddess Black Woman, Mother of Civilization. This also here's a good book too. I actually met her in person, got the book from her. I was actually at the library. At practically what I do, I actually read children's books first because it's practically easy to read and get directly to the actual point. And then I kind of mature the grade level and start reading the same topic but kind of different grade levels. But I always start with children's books first. This book is powerful right here. A book about Frederick Douglass. I'm actually buying more books about Frederick Douglass. Harriet Tubman. This book here, you would think that he was there. S.C. Anderson, you would think he was there. All the details, information he actually gathered for what actually occurred in the Middle Passage or the Atlantic slave trade, you would think that he was there and shit. Powerful book. Robin Walker, powerful book. Of course, recommend everybody cop all of his books. He actually like one of my teachers from afar, especially this one. I'm just gonna make a review. Just look out for my review of my books. I actually have comic books, so I'm not speaking about that. I have a lot of my Black Age comics collection, so I'm actually including that, and my Credible Hulk collection. So I'm actually speaking about those two. These are actually my library books that actually like speak about history, culture, something like that. Blacks in Science Volume 2, Robin Walker. Blacks in Science, Volume 1, Robin Walker. Blacks in Religion, Volume 1. So I'm actually showing you all of my books I have by far. And like I said earlier, if I actually started to collect books when I was actually going to the library several years ago, my collection would have been dramatically much more. But I actually memorized the information. And some of it was mostly just common sense, though. The brother I actually met in person. Real cool cat, yo. This is actually a real good ass book right here. Really good ass book. And this book right here, like I said before, I'm actually gonna buy more books like this on how to become an own not credible, but you know, comic book artist, on like that. Everything actually says in this book, I actually is highly aware of it. But it's actually really a good ass book if you actually want to cop it. This book can help. I know it can. Miseducation of the Negro. This is a good book right here. Her name, her author right there. Hopefully you can see it. The Conspiracy to Destroy the Black Woman. This is really a good ass book right here. Another book about Melon. I'm about to buy more books about Melon as well. This is actually one of the best books I actually read. I mean, this also gonna be within the review. And it's gonna be speaking about the African woman, the original guardian angel. This book now, like I said, for all I'm actually showing you, I read from beginning to end. It all began in Black Egypt. This is the author of it. Yo, cop his work. Yo, whatever book he makes, cop it. This book actually speaks about how the Egyptians actually had cornrows, afro, and dreadlocks. When I actually did my research outside of what this book literally says, they said that the dreadlocks actually originated in Kemet. You know, the native word people call Egypt. So I said, what the fuck? Then when I went deep into what he was talking about, it's a lot of information of black people, or the pregnant Egyptians had afros. And I was shocked at the information I was seeing when they had cornrows. So me kind of putting two to two together, I said, now besides the fact that they were actually trading, food, something like that, which that's called barter system, B-A-R-T-E-R. So there was like trade and exchange. So they were, when they were doing that, there was also trading their culture. You know what I mean? They have a closer bond with each other. That's pretty what they was doing. And I think they actually did that with hairstyles. Now, it hasn't directly said that, but that's what I think they did. It fucking has to. This book here speaks about East African and Nubian origins of the ancient Egyptians. Speaks about that the Egyptians was highly aware that the earth was actually a circle. They even was highly aware of the measurement of time. They knew it was actually 24, if not 12 hours within the day. The Egyptians are already aware of it, not just them, but including previous hours. But I'm only just getting just this. When I did my research outside of what this says, yo, it's a lot of information that they speak about. That even the calendar that we use today trace to the Egyptians. And this book even speaks about a lot of other information in here. So please cop this. This book, yo, this book is motherfucking hilarious, yo. Yo, this book I speak about, several civilization. Europe, Asia, various others. How that they was originally was black. And how some of their faces is, their nose has been knocked the fuck off. And some of their faces like somebody was plucking them. I mean like punching them. Like somebody was punching the fucking faces off. It's fucking ridiculous, yo. Now let's go this one. Yo, this right here, I'm getting more books of him. Yo, his brother said, fuck this shit. His brother said, fuck this shit. Yo, he was like, yo, fuck what you heard, brother. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go explore out this bitch. I'm gonna go, cause I know it's more land or somewhere for me to explore. So I'm gonna give you this crown. Fuck this shit. I'm not coming back. He moonwalked out the fucking palace, gathered a couple of his niggas, saw spooning around, went all the way to America. They haven't even said it here. Also, what I was reading about, I think it's within this book, where they were talking about that West Africa, including various other Africans, that knowledge was very important to the Africans. It was very important to us. The whole entire culture was actually based on knowledge, and it was actually book trading. We was book trading. Actually, one of the most profitable, if not the most profitable, of West Africa was book trading. At first, it was salt. Then over time, it actually became book trading, especially when they started to build universities and shit like that. So they was stealing books. I don't mean like 2, 3 books. I mean, they was stealing a fucking box load of books. I was reading this shit. I say, word. It was crazy, yo. They was stealing books. That's how much they was hungry for knowledge. They was stealing books. Oh, man, it sort of remind me old days of myself, yo. It was crazy. The first thing I ever saw in my life was a library book. Here it is, cousin. I have it, but I get a chance to read it. They came before Columbus, the African president in ancient America. I have it, but I get a chance to read it. Now, these books here, I haven't read. This one. I haven't read this one. when the world was black, the untold history of the world's first civilizations. This is part 2. From Supreme Understanding, he be dropping those jewels. The ISIS papers, actually caught this from, Dr. Francis Wilson. Caught this book right here too. These books I haven't read yet at all. I'm actually gonna show y'all books that I'm actually reading currently, which is this one, The African Empires in Ancient America. I'm reading this right now. Yo, this is what he says. We go deeper outside of what he says, you're gonna find some interesting shit. Look at what he said. Yo said, I'm just gonna read to you several types of blacks entered the Americas, including so he actually giving you names. He said the various African tribes actually migrated to Western, and even we referring to this book, he even get very down into details of all the African tribes that migrated from Western East Africa and migrated from that region to America. He even said the major African group to settle ancient America was the Manding people, Manding people. He also went as far as this guy right here, hopefully the book sees it. It says that in the United States, no, not this one. Hold up. That's not it. This one right here. He says the early presence of Ice Age sites in South America suggests that these people probably came from Africa. This would explain that between the African languages, so they're actually comparing the languages, like, the languages are identical. So black people must have came over here. And all this is documented. He said in very ancient times, the African continent was inhabited by Asians and African blacks. The oldest skeletons remains found in Americas are of those of blacks. Also, this guy, his name is right there. Hopefully you can see it. He says it is good to report that it is good to report that long ago, the youthful America was also a Negro continent. When you go deep into what he just said there, they actually considered America a Negro continent. And that's not all. He says dramatically a lot more. White people was highly aware that black people actually inhabited it. They actually found skulls of African skulls in America, including Mexico. He even give you names. I actually made a book based on this alone. Just alone. I'm not even finished. You see what I'm saying? He give you names, years, the quotes of what they said, and how they was like, we gonna keep that shit secret. So they was highly aware the oldest skeleton they found, not just America, but including Mexico, was Negro. So they quiet about that shit. This book's explaining. The book even explain a lot more depth and details of how, various African tribes. He give you the names, the year they went there, when they was up to calculate and something to estimate, all that shit. It says it right here in this book. Right here in this book. Cop it. This right here, well, not just Africans, this another book I'm reading at the same time. When I get finished reading the previous one I just showed you, I'm gonna read this one next. And Black God. All the gods was originally was black. And knowing me, because I just want to go further depth into history, something like that. It even says it in your Bible. But I just want to go further depth into that. So before that, so that's why I got this book from Supreme Understanding, because he be dropping those jewels. So that's why I basically caught this book right here. Because I was already aware that every god was originally black. And so white people went all around the world because of man-made God in his own image, which means that each race was originally black. So they created God in their image to reflect of how they look, because they know that God was actually within them. So they practically expressed it outwardly. See what I'm saying? That's what they gave it form. All the gods actually had Negro features or practically African features. Dreadlocks, cornrows, afros, all that shit. Negro features with the lips and the face, the eyes. So that's why they don't show that. That's why people talking about, it don't matter what the color says, but history says they all originally was black. That's why they don't teach history, because they know it's a weapon. I didn't even read this one yet. Now, I was already aware of it, especially with all the other researches I've been, researching on before. But like I said before, I always want to get very depth into the details of practically everything, because all information updates. You know what I mean? That's pretty what I do. I have a passion for reading. I can't stop, because with me, I need more power. I just can't stop. My family called me a junkie and a fucking professor, a brainiac, all that shit. I just can't stop until I get enough. And even enough is not enough for me. I don't know why. I just can't stop. And if you watch my previous video that she made, most of my money that she gets spent on books. And these are all the books that she had by far. And I have more on the way. So I gotta say about that, y'all. Peace. What's your library? You know what I mean?